Howard, I got hurt at work in the warehouse. My boss doesn't believe me.
Aiken Law has over 100 attorneys and staff ready to work for you. If you've been hurt on the job, in a car accident, or suffered a medical mistake, call 312-6-million.
For the White Sox, they head to New York as they flew to New York on Sunday night from Chicago shortly after their win against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Monday is an off day as they get ready to face the New York Yankees. And the scene in New York, I am sure you have seen it on television news and in social media, is absolutely crazy as the New York Knicks won their first NBA title in 53 years. So there's a lot of energy in that city right now. And for the Yankees, they're back in first place in the American League East. They are 43-27 this year. They're just a game ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays. At home this year, the Yankees are 19-12. They've won their last 2 games. They are 7-3 in their last 10. Your pitching probables for this series, each of these games is at 6:05 p.m. Central Time. On Tuesday, great pitching matchup. It's the Dart, Davis Martin for the White Sox against Gerrit Cole. Wednesday, it is Anthony Kay against old friend Carlos Rodon. And on Thursday, we'll see if Sean Burke can bounce back. He'll be going up against Ryan Weathers. I also got a chance to chat with Len Casper and Connor McKnight on Sunday. I want to give a cap tip to ESPN 1000 and the White Sox radio team. Len invited me up to the radio booth as my father-in-law, Roy, which I mentioned a few times on this podcast, has been dealing with cancer. Thank you to everyone that has reached out and sent your positive thoughts and your prayers for Roy's recovery. His prostate surgery was a success. He does not need further treatment, and he felt strong enough to finally go to a White Sox game. He's been a White Sox fan since 1959, so it's very exciting. Of course, next week is Father's Day, so we spoiled him. We took him to the 300 level. Len invited him up to the radio booth, and he got a chance to take some pictures and take in the first inning from the radio booth. So thank you, Len and Connor. That means a great deal to me. But Jim, Len was telling me they have to fly in on Sunday because of the hysteria with the Knicks. And I'm not saying you are a New York expert, but for somebody who lived in Albany for years and visited New York City, the parade, Jim, for the Knicks is on Thursday, and that's getaway day for the White Sox, even though it's a night game. So there could be a lot of distractions for everybody involved, or at least trying to get to the Bronx from their Midtown hotel for these games. So it'll be interesting to see in how the White Sox players react for this road series with everything that's going on in New York City.
Yeah, it's basically the Bears in Chicago, like times 3 or 4 when it comes to the population. Just
Okay.
in terms of the gravitational pull they have when things are going well. The Nets don't really matter. The Nets do not divide the attention. It's always been about the Knicks. So it's not a surprise that things have you have to plan around just the amount of bodies that are going to be out there, that are constantly out there. I was not necessarily rooting for the Knicks, just old habits die hard of just not wanting to see good things happen to them. But it is, when you see just the different kinds of celebrations that come out in different neighborhoods, people making their own fun, and not the property destruction, but people having fun. That's always heartwarming, I would say at this point. That's kind of what I took away from it. Like Knicks, but people smiling and bringing their own flavor to it. Thumbs up.
For this series, Tuesday night, as I mentioned, a fantastic pitching matchup with Gerrit Cole for the Yankees and Davis Martin for the White Sox. James Martin looked very strong against the Atlanta Braves, 6 scoreless innings. He mentioned in his postgame that extra time off really helped him. He's going to be on 6 days rest for this start. Is that simple that moving forward, whatever extra days the White Sox can buy Davis Martin, that's going to be the right move to make sure that he continues to be this strong?
I don't know if he would endorse that. I think it's certainly something that they want to address when it comes up. I was kind of asking around the other day about whether if there's any element of maybe extra suspicion that this team is going to be needing to keep their starters fresh through October, not just to October, that weighs in. And they kind of downplayed it, but saying like they got to be conscious of like the fact that like they don't have many guys who have pitched more than like 150 innings in a season before. Like they would already be on the watch for opportunities to get extra days. And I don't think that's like solely to Davis Martin, but Martin certainly spoke about it in a way that grabs your attention and saying that acknowledging that he felt like he was just physically exhausted in the Twins series. I mean, there's no way to quibble really with six shutout innings against the Braves offense with no walks and six strikeouts. At the same time, I didn't think it was like the best stuff or like the crispest Martin outing of the season. I feel like he got by in like Davis Martin fashion. There's like a line out with the bases loaded and stuff like that. So I think it's certainly something to watch for with him, and certainly something they could turn to again for somebody who I don't think has hit. He hasn't hit like I think 144 is around his max for the season. You know, he's done that a few times, and I think that certainly applies to like Sean Burke as well, and more than applies to Noah Schultz or whoever else is in the younger part of this picture that might mix in. Anthony Kay is have a bit longer seasons under his belt with Japan, but hasn't pitched like all the way through October before. God, I can't believe I'm considering how to keep Anthony Kay, innings in a good place for late October, but here we are,
Gotta love it.
considering that. So yeah, I think that's going to be something you'd see turn to a lot. It does seem like it's going to be a bit more ad hoc, like responding to like this guy looks like he's worn down, or he's even saying something. Mostly the takeaway I got from starting pitchers is that they'll never say something. They're all wired to try to get themselves through the game in front of them, and like I think we gotta not to single out an individual fan, but I may have been making fun of you too, Davis Martin, about like the idea that someone was like, why are they bringing Colson back? Shouldn't they wait until he's like 110%? And that'd be like, well, when he's dead, what do you mean? They'll never be 110% again. They're pro athletes. They play every day. They're constantly playing through soreness. It would be very easy if it was a question of if you feel something, you sit. Like they're constantly feeling something. Davis even joked like sometimes you throw a pitch and feel something, and you don't feel it again for 4 months. Like it just doesn't work this way where it's like they're ignoring this obvious thing that they should give into. So it's always a very difficult thing to pin down, but they're very aware. I think you should anticipate other points of the season where they're going to do this or look for extra rest for guys beyond Martin. What it only like slams home is the idea that they need more depth, because right now they're literally trying to figure out how long they can stave off trying to find a fifth starter, let alone like how to find easy ways to rest their five starters. So I think that plays into and wondering like, man, what do they do when Drew Thorpe gets back, or if David Sandlin looks like he's ready for a new turn in rotation. I think that depth will be pretty easy to find. As much as we never truly find more bats and spots, that's doubly true for the pitching staff, where there'll be plenty of opportunities to look for extra rest. Like if only they could have the blessing of having six starters or having a spot starter, they feel good about piping in there so that they can give guys a blow. They'll be hunting for that probably at the trade deadline, in addition to just looking for opportunities to do it, with your farm system depth.
For the sixth time of this podcast, yes, we know the White Sox need to trade for pitching.
In a good way, in the way where you need to, because the season matters.
Yes, in a very good way. Jim, old friend alert, White Sox against Carlos Rodon. This should be a fun matchup.
Yeah. He looks like he's close to what he was. He's just walking more guys than usual. I think that's where the White Sox and this new patient game plan that they have of having an idea what they're going to do and a better idea of what it's supposed to look like when they come into the zone and not chasing so much. If Rodon is walking, a batter every other inning and pitches pile up, perhaps they can use it against them. But also, like, Rodon is a lefty and the White Sox are still trying to figure out their best lineup against them. So good test for the right-handed bats to come in and also like the left-handed bats, like the ones who have to bat, the ones who had to, like Jacob Gonzalez having to bat against Chris Sale. Like I think that's what you're going to see here in terms of same thing of just good test for the righties, good test for some lefties who might get a tough assignment. And, I wonder how much the game plan is just trying to wait them out or extended bats to for somebody else to knock them down.
The White Sox will be facing 3 straight left-handed starters later this week in Rodon, Weathers, and Tarek Skubal on Friday. Huge thank you to our Sox Machine subscribers. We'll be sending James next weekend to Detroit to cover that series between the White Sox and the Tigers. With Skubal coming back, he was on 80 pitches as the Tigers lost to the Guardians in that start, but Skubal was hitting 100 miles an hour. So it seems like he is close to full strength, and we'll see if they push the pitch limit. But something to watch this week is how do the White Sox fare against these 3 left-handed starters. Thanks for watching the latest Sox Machine video. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us on social media at Sox Machine and visit our website, soxmachine.com.